So, are you aware that when you cling to negative narrative, you take it alongside your life journey, and that automatically affects how you operate and how you live your life? This is today's live on Equa Television International, and we're so glad that you could join us on today's edition of the program. My name is Joyce Jakada, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. I'm being joined by yours sincerely, Engineer Tony J. Nakali of
Most High.
Blessed memory. Of me. What is the office
Of the
It's
Most
nice joining you
of
on today's
Tangale
live.
Nation. Sorry. Of the Most High.
Of Zion.
Okay. Prudence.
South
Three
side.
people are here. Don't start.
When I
Don't
started
start.
the Tangale, I now look to
Okay.
the next person again, and
Don't
wow.
start to.
Well, on Christ the solid rock I stand. And
We also stand on that same rock.
every-
But you know that rock, there are some rocks that are higher. Lead me to the mountain that is higher than
higher. That's
So
why
when we climb that one, we'll look at you down. And
I'm not intimidated, on Christ the solid rock. All
Even-
other grounds. I mean, all other grounds.
nobody is on the ground.
Nobody is
Tell
on the
those
ground.
that are on the ground, but we are also on that rock.
On
But
that
our
rock.
own rock is higher than where you stand.
Okay, just take the space that we are occupying.
I've never intimidated. Let's talk about changing negative narrative.
With who?
Prudence Bruga,
We are not talking
Sambo
anything.
Solomon.
Do
We are
the
not.
show alone.
Engineer Tony
Do
J.
the show alone. We are not
Nakali.
saying anything on the show. Do the show alone.
Can you change the negative narrative by starting
Let's
on this
leave her
note?
to do the show alone. Do it alone. Nobody is talking.
All right, so let's talk about negative
You talk
narrative.
for 1 hour.
Negative narrative.
Like his sermon, you.
Thank you for being my audience. So the topic today is negative narrative, changing negative narrative. A lot of times, like I said earlier, when you cling to negative narrative, like it has a way of affecting you, like your life entirely. And like yesterday you observed, it's important we conceptualize our topic, like what is negative narrative. They're actually those stories, those negative stories you tell yourself about yourself. Negative, something bad that you keep reminding yourself that this is who I am, this is what defines me, where I'm coming from. We will not take away the fact that our environment has a way of influencing us, our thought patterns, our behaviors, and how our attitude, and even how we see life generally. But we are looking at changing it. When it tilts toward negative, how do you change it? But before we talk about how we can change negative narrative, I'll just quickly like to get your thoughts on negative narrative. Like, have you had those experiences? Even not you, but maybe with people around you. Because for me, I've had people say, like I gave the story of one lady here that said that she would never forgive her father, that if he had sent her to school, that she would not be working as a messenger. People will not be sending her up and down. Her dad is late, he's in the grave, but she said she will not forgive him. So she felt, okay, where she's coming from or his impact, like that tells who she is and has defined the totality of her life and where she's headed. So maybe you have experience with people around, or you've had, but I'd like us to talk generally on negative narrative.
I have experience. Yesterday, I spoke very many things about the show, but unfortunately, I saw somebody inside the car posting that they are taking her somewhere. Yesterday, after we addressed the issue on the show, it was on status all over. Is that not something that should have sunk in after the show? They
Wow,
carry her inside the car. She say we move.
Tell us more.
The person say we move. After preaching,
Yeah.
after I spoke elaborately yesterday about love and lust, the person enter car and say we move. To where?
Wow. Aisha is not believe it. That the person is pursuing.
So Solo, we have been wasting time on this show. People that were on the show with us, they didn't learn nothing.
I'm telling you.
Anyway,
It's quite unfortunate.
let me say, Joyce, we live in a world of information chatter. And hourly, not even hourly, every minute, people are bombarded by countless competing messages. If you are not seeing anything on Facebook, you are seeing it on WhatsApp. like your picture that I saw that you said we move your video inside
Okay,
man's car.
she's the one.
Inside man's car. So
Junior.
no, it's not a hidden thing now. It's on her status, so everybody has seen it. It's on her status. So if she sent me that video personally,
Which man?
if she sent me, okay, it's a woman that owns the car.
Did you see? Is there anybody apart from me?
Okay, it was a Tesla. It was driving itself.
Please go ahead.
The man sounds like a married man. Let them not even know it's my car. Joyce, I've caught you. You caught you red-handed.
If you believe this, you believe anything in the world.
But of a truth, right? I was establishing a fact that you hear things every day. People say, even if it's not one-to-one, right? Or one-on-one, or whatever the case is. People force negative things for people to see. And anything that comes to your eyes, if your eyes can visualize it, chances are that your mind can store it. So, to answer your question, simply put, before I go to my next point, after everybody has answered this question, the truth is, every day you hear more negative things than you hear positive things.
True.
That's just it.
Very true. Talking about negative narrative, I think that
The question is, have you heard? Did I
Yes,
get you correctly?
true. Yes. And I was getting there.
Okay, I'm sorry. 3 times in 2 days. Joyce told me I will answer you in a minute. Solo shot me up yesterday. Today, Prudence.
I'm getting
You
there.
learnt it from the show yesterday. Go ahead. Inarama.
Okay, so I was saying that negative narrative, it's something that you see and you meet like almost every day on the streets. A lot of people are living their lives being gullible. In fact, just before we came for the show, someone was talking about how she really feels a lot of people are living their lives gullibly. You're just prone to being deceived and walking into deceit with your own legs. So a negative narrative is like something that you walk on the street and you're being bombarded with it like every day of your life. You find from moving from what you tell yourself to what the society tells you, and subsequently what people around you, company that you keep, continue to feed you. So you find negative narrative everywhere. So it's not something that you ask, have you heard of? It's like even if you've not heard, if you want to say you've not heard of it, you have had an accident with it before. Somewhere, somehow, you have come across negative narrative. So it's just there. And you just have to work on it to actually move.
Okay. For me, I would say this topic is about me. If you are talking about hearing negative narrative, I would say this topic is for me. Because
You hear it or you say it.
Has heard it.
I struggle with it.
Yes, seen it.
Like from my circle, I mean from my immediate family. Because I can still remember my dad's words that would tell me, hopeless child.
You have said that on the show.
That dealt with me. Maybe in his innocent mind, he didn't know that this is how I've been battling with as a child. That's why you say parents have to be very careful. So sometimes it even starts from your immediate cycle, people you think they are showing you love. But that hard love can just be something that will affect you in the future.
True.
You know, so I would just say if you are out there and you're struggling with one, just look at me and just see like how I struggle and I
So
came
how
out.
how did you get over that?
Well, there are people in my life that I would say I'm grateful meeting them in my journey that I can't forget, and I will always mention till I die. I don't care how people see it, how they feel. It's about me and looking at how they've helped me. The truth of the whole matter is that you have to be deliberate about it, and you have to be positive. Positive in the sense that if you're not careful, you will not see whoever is trying to help you from the positive side of it.
True.
You will think the person, he or she, is still trying to pull you down and to make you remain where you are. You know, so what? And if you remember, on this set, I normally say I talk more about cycle because I know how the cycle helped me. You know, so you have to be deliberate about the cycle you keep, because if you are growing up with that kind of mentality and you remain in the cycle of people that are looking down on themselves, to definitely to be honest, you will remain there.
True.
Maybe you'll be worse. Yes, because they will always encourage you. Yes, they will always encourage you to remain where you are, even less.
True.
But you see, late Reverend Stephen Mundat, late Mrs. Jumai in Ekwa Bishara 4, they picked me somewhere and they brought me to the church while my mom is struggling after finishing my secondary school. All I am living is just to live and die. Because all around me, my cycle and my situation just proved to say that I'm nothing and I'm with nobody. I don't have anything to offer. So I just live to just eat my karkashi and just wait. If the time comes, I die. That was just the whatever. But you see, later, Stephen pulled me, bought a grinding machine for me. He said, start here. He said, that's not who you are. But I believe in you. And I believe in the greatness that is in you. Can we do this together? And let's see how we move. I started. It was a struggle.
You know
On
what?
the street, you know, and then you are right there. The engine is in your street. Everybody passing you, seeing you. You know, that's the secondary school.
Maybe there was a girl you were passing.
No, I mean, no. Honestly, it will shock you, sir, that the way I was feeling, even women intimidate me. So in my mind, I don't even think, because I don't imagine that I will keep a woman in my life, that she would be part of me. All my life, I just see myself as a single person. Even if someone is showing me that care and love and concern, I feel like, no, it's a scam.
Person is looking for something.
Like, no, I feel like it's a scam. It's not true. Like, it's not that you are looking for something, but I just feel like, no, I'm not that lovable. Until I meet Ekwa TV family again. Mr. Tony Nakali, you are one, sir. I said it. Some people pick offense, but I know what you have done to my life. You're one of the reasons why I'm here. You talk about Let Joyce Iyakari. She played a wonderful role in my life. Talk more of the crew, you know, of Ekwa TV. Talk of this family that we are here. Sometimes when I'm quiet, just that some of you are just talking to me and I'm picking notes. And that's how the life is. So you see this life, when you are talking, you know, people will just see you and just don't know from where you're coming from. I've never believed in myself. I never thought that something, like I will sit down and someone will listen to me. But look at me today. Courtesy, people around me that truly are willing and I mean well. But it's not just about people meaning well for you. You just have to have an open heart. That, okay, those things that I've learned that are not true about me, can I unlearn them? Start with it. Some people find it difficult to throw those things because they will tell you it's too late. I've gone this far. I can't reverse it. Just allow me to die. And that's why some people will lead them to suicide and the rest. As you see me here, 3 times I attempted suicide based on the way I see community, you know, project me, sees me. And even my immediate family that are supposed to see that love and that push that is not there. So there are people out there, millions, that are coming from my cycle. Some worse. Some, not even 1/4 of what I went through. But up to now, they are struggling. So know that it's possible. You can get out there. I read something. He said, if you cannot do something great, do the little in a great way.
No, I was going to say that
Exactly.
we live in a world where, or we are coming from this part of the world that is almost impossible for you not to relate to negative narratives. Like, but like I said earlier on, because we come out from such environments, we tend to feel this is who we are. And we keep reminding ourselves, like you're coming from a family that your parent will say you amount to nothing. Your father will say, oh, all the girls, I gave birth to prostitutes. Like somebody that gave
Yes.
birth to you. You have a mother saying you will not make it in life. The things you're doing to me, your children will do it for you. And somehow, because this information keeps coming up on your mind, you feel that, so there's no need for me to make any deliberate effort. This is who I am. So you don't even see the brighter side of it. You don't even see that there's possibility. I mean, look at where we are coming from. I mean, our country, the story, the narrative about Nigeria as a country is always tilting towards the negative. When you go to the international scene, the international community, on the every day when you hear narrative about Nigeria, is tilting towards negative. But how can we be deliberate in terms of changing? Yes, I came from a family where nobody believed in me, that it also influenced my thought pattern, that I'm almost thinking that, oh, I can't amount to anything. Even when I'm seeing possibility, I don't believe. I tell people, no, me, I know who you don't understand. My forefathers have said this about me. This is where I'm coming. In my family, nobody has, you hear people giving testimony about nobody has moved on, nobody has bagged a degree, nobody is married in my family. Like, so how can people change these negative stories that have been told about them, and they also think about it, they also say the negative stories to themselves?
Exactly, and I love where you're coming from, because and I also love the fact that you mentioned our country, Nigeria, because look at it. Those of us within the shores of Nigeria, within the native land, Nigeria, we complain of negativities now and then. In fact, the news doesn't go a day without you hearing some sort of negativity. However, the moment we move out of the country, they're making waves. So where have we gotten it wrong? Why do we keep telling ourselves certain things like we are not going anywhere? Or why do we keep telling ourselves certain negative things like we cannot amount to anything? We are not able to change this. We are not even ready to change it. But that much is quite true. If you really want to change the narrative, you need to be ready to face these obstacles, because negativity will not just let you leave it. It continues coming at you. It's like you're in a battlefront and you're trying to win the enemy. The enemy keeps coming at you with more forces, and that's what negativity does to you. It would not just sit back and see you fight it and just keep quiet. No, it will come in a different, or rather in a more armed way, and it becomes harder for you. But you need to still be consistent and ready to face it. I love, and I also love the fact that Mr. Solomon started out with his life story. Some of us really need to hear that people have come out of it. That alone is encouraging. For you to actually move from negativity, sometimes you need to listen to other people's stories to move ahead, to forge ahead. And we really need to work on our mindset towards negativity. Solomon mentioned positivity, to face life with positivity. It's not an easy thing. A lot of times when we say you need to face life with positivity, we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk. Positivity is hard to come by, especially when everything seems as at
Negative.
odds with you. It's like everything is fighting against you. Positivity is hard. Sometimes we say that things, you can easily say something like, it's momentary, it will pass, this too will pass. To get to the point where you're able to say this too will pass, it's quite hard too. So sometimes it just seems bleak. And to an extent I'm speaking out of experience, because I struggled with something for almost 10 years now. Up to 10 years now. And sometimes I'm like, can I even continue living my life like normally, unlike the way I used to? No, it doesn't seem like it is possible to live life as I used to. It seems like there is no hope. But sometimes you listen to people that really talk of positivity and you're like, okay, there is hope. Even when it seems bleak, there is. So a lot of things just boils down to our mindset. We really need to work and adjust our mindset. Be positive and continue to push through. Be ready to be attacked, because you will be. You will be attacked.
Be ready not to be believed.
Exactly, too. You need to be ready not to be believed. Because sometimes even you find it hard to believe in yourself. So to be not believed is something that,
in fact, people will dare you and say, see this one, something that has happened for years. Like, and
How
you're
do you
telling us
think
that
you can
you're going
change
to
it?
change this. I remember personally, like, I've had a lot of experiences with negative narratives from where I'm coming from. Like, especially, I was in school back then, and I was trying to fill up a form after getting admission, and I made a mistake on the form. So when I went back to the person that was in charge of it to say, oh, I made a mistake. So before I even continue, I just say, oh, I just made it. And this woman looked at me angrily and she said, I'm not even sure if you write the exam, you'll pass. Because how can you're just trying to fill up a form and you just make a mistake? I was shocked. I looked at her and I said I was sorry. She said, just go and feel it like that and all. Another experience was, someone told me that you are from this place. These people that are so dull and like, and you're even trying to contest for a position like political position or student union. Coupled with the fact that you're coming from this place, that people are dull, and then you're also like double another distraction on it. Like you will not even graduate from this place. And I met her, like she's 2-3 years ahead of me. While I was in 100 level, she was in 400 level, like trying to appeal for her support. And that was when she trying to advise me. She just gave me that. Yes. And she said that this girl is not serious. Like at this level, you're thinking of this. The fact that you are from so place, and then you people are not even like sharp, you are dull, and you want to go into politics, another distraction and all of that. And thank you for your advice, well noted. And I left, but I didn't go back. Yes, I did, and I won. So at the end of the day, I didn't allow what they say.
You did school politics?
Yes.
As what?
Welfare secretary and also secretary general. Okay. So at some point I told myself,
SUG or
okay, one of it diploma was at SUG level and then departmental level as well. So I went back, I smiled to whatever they said, because I know that this is not who I am. And for me, the end will tell. So I don't even need to explain to you that this is who I am. What you're telling me is your experience with some people, not with me. So I had never in my life allowed what somebody thought of me to affect me. There are times that even our parents just say words, like they don't think, they just say certain things. And sometimes like, why would you say that? I remember my dad one point, how can I give birth to a child and say this to the child? So we live in a society that we are careless about words. We are careless about stories we tell ourselves. We are careless about informations. Like we don't know information. We don't know how that these things stick to the head, and then unconsciously it forms your totality. And you see, it shows in your attitude, your behaviors. There are people that today you don't even need them to tell you where they are coming from or who they are. Oh, are you a good person? You don't need to ask that question. But from their behavior, you can tell that this is who this person, this is the story, this is the narrative that has influenced this person thought pattern. Somebody can look at you and just say, this person is a so. How did you come up with that? It's because of the information you've gathered in your head. It's because of what you have exposed yourself to. But like you mentioned, it's very important that we're deliberate about our mindset. See, changing the narrative is not for the weak or the lazy. It's for the tough. is for those people that are tough, that
It's
are
a
strong.
war.
Because you live in a world that you're bombarded. Now, most of the apps on our phone, whether you like, you see pop-up adverts. Like sometimes you're trying to make a call and then one advert will just stop you for some minutes before you go back to your call. And you're wondering, do I need all of this? Even when they tell you what do you find offensive and you say all this, they will still pop it up again. So you go on Facebook, you see narratives about yourself, about where you're coming from, and you're wondering, like, is it possible to change this narrative? And I say it's possible. I've met with individuals from families that people can just think that this person will not amount to anything, but the person dared it, that I will not allow where I'm coming from define me. I will change this. I will go to school without shoe. Though I go to school without shoe, though I have nothing to eat, though I sleep on the floor, but this will not define where I am headed.
These are all natural things that people, they are normal. Going without a meal, is it not normal?
Usual.
Do you understand? Speaking against you, is it not normal? Saying you won't amount to anything, is it not normal? You see, Jesus said, you are cleansed through the words that I've spoken unto you. Cleansed from what? It doesn't have to be an ailment. You see, mental emancipation is also a disease. Like if you are a captive, if you are caged mentally, it's also a disease. So emancipation, mental emancipation is a serious breakthrough for anybody. You have to emancipate yourself. Everybody you see in this life, some people say you are a product of grace. No, you are a product of information, sir. Because even that grace is information. How did you find it? You read to find out what it means before it became a portion in your life. People struggle with a lot of things because they have been informed. I think we have dealt with something like that on today's life. People have been informed otherwise.
True.
People have been told, see, this work that you are going, is it not, okay, I visited a school today. Every classroom is under lock and key. And I was wondering, I asked the woman, I said, what is happening? Do you know what she said? She said, it's still Salah. It's only teachers that were in the school. The students, all of them, she said, until after 1 week. But us as staff will have to come to work. Sir, if you believe something, you know, the highlight of this show for me today is your story.
True.
And there are people that are watching with like just 10% of what you went through. They are looking for all products that they can take and die. But how do you want to become great without passing the examination? So you also see the test as an infirmity? No, it's not. It's not. You that went to school, everything my school, you that went to school. Was it from primary 1 that you went to University of Jos? That we are not even sure if you went. Yeah? Yeah?
How did you employ me?
You brought a certificate. A pastor said, employ her. I respected the pastor. But Joyce, look at it. You went to a nursery school. They tested you.
True.
They now said, this one, go to primary school. You went to primary 1. You scaled through all the way to primary 6. You wrote common entrance. You scaled through all secondary school. You wrote JAM and WAEC. You scaled through. You went to university. You scaled through. Didn't you, for the fact that you did not pay fees, somebody paid it painfully, didn't you have your own struggles? In school, lecturers will try to sleep with you. They will fail you for no reason. Students will fight you. You are passing, you see cultists, you look for another longer route home. A lot of things that you had to survive through that depression. But now it's history. When Joyce came here, she was looking like something.
Hey, God.
She's
I
walking.
saw one picture 3
I'm
years
telling
ago.
you. When Joyce came here, it was only head. She came to do IT.
That's not
Look
true.
at what we have done to her now. With one funny hairstyle. What was this? Zaneya. Why do we want to be called people of substance, successful people, but we hate the stories behind being successful. Why? There are things that are laughable now. When people look at you and, some people, right now, I am trending for negative reasons on social media, especially where I come from. People have all sort of things to say about me. Do I care? No. If you say that there is a drink in this cup, I want to get it, and I'm stretching my hand, and Prudence is just hitting my hand down, and I will even try with my legs. The aim is to get this drink to my mouth. Whatever you do, as I'm attacking, I'm dealing with it, I'm focusing on the drink until I pick the drink and I take it to my... See, that's why I started by saying everything about this life is information.
It's true.
It's information.
Very true. Very true.
Pastor will preach. They will say he's a prosperity preacher. Must you preach about money? The man will go and preach Bible. If we didn't ask him to preach Bible now, he would have been talking about money. Ekwa, you people don't have the Spirit of God. You don't do healing, you don't do miracle, you don't do that.
I was told that.
This pastor is not of God. See how he's touching people, they are falling. This one, there is no just one thing that you do. Point to us the right person then. Point to us the right person. Look at the Jesus that you are following. If you are a Christian, look at the Jesus that you are following. To save you, what did he go through? No, look at it now.
Perfect example.
Yes, sir. Somebody that they had the right, and the power, and the resources to save us without dying.
It's true.
But he said, not my will, but your will be done. He was talking to his father. He said, not my will. There are people that were not half as powerful as Jesus. They called fire. They separated the sea. And it was a dry ground. Mud became dry and all. They were not even saved. Because it takes Jesus to save you, and they pre-existed his existence. I don't know why people will just sit down and they will tell you, if you are doing this, they will kill you in that place. So, no, you have to stay and fight your way through. Everything about life shows that man wants to prosper. And if that is why you want to prosper, now if they tell you that there is opportunity in Abuja, how do you go to Abuja? You enter a vehicle and you go. But the road is bad. The road is bad. It's not all rocky. Look at the road from Jos to Gombe. From Bauchi to Alkaleri is terrible. But people still travel in their thousands. We had a broken bridge that broke like over 10 times. What is 10 times? People still travel. If you don't look at traveling and putting obstacles at the back of your mind, you will remain stagnant.
True.
Nobody pays a stagnant person. Nobody appreciates a stagnant person. In fact, people run away from stagnant people. There are people, when I see their call on my phone, I just know that it's money. I just know that yesterday I was with you after work. Somebody called me 14 times repeatedly. What was he looking for? 5,000 naira. 14 times, like back to back. He was calling repeatedly. But there are people, when you see their call, Prudence is calling me. Prudence, how are you? Because you know, even if Prudence is asking you, she's pushed the wall to ask.
True.
You see, people who believe every negative thing said about them, they don't amount to anything in life.
True.
Because you sit down, you will cry, you will complain, you will not have a girlfriend. You
I was just waiting.
You will
to
say
hear that.
you will say everything in life is a scam and everything. But you see, the Bible says that you should not be conformed to all of these things that you are told.
Yeah.
But you should be transformed by reading the word of God daily.
True.
That is the only thing that will renew your mind.
True. And one thing that I find quite interesting is that he said the same word of God said, my people die for the lack of knowledge. So that means information actually kills more than hunger does. Like lack of information kills more than not actually having food on your table. Because if you are informed,
just say information. When you say lack, because negative information is
information
also
could-
information.
True.
So it's information,
It's information.
that either kills or makes you.
makes you true, very true. So there are times that you are faced with a situation and it's the information that you have regarding that situation that actually puts you through that situation. So sometimes we really just need to really work on the kind of information we hear. And as we have established on this show, a lot of times this information tilts towards the negative. Like I said earlier, you talk about our country, Nigeria, and every morning you're waking up to a different negative information, and it begins to break your hope and break you and things like that. But how do we get out of this? Is that we mentioned earlier that you need to stay positive, but you also need to keep yourself informed. Almost everybody has access to internet now. This is something that you could browse and get the right information. It's not, we're not saying everybody can do it, but a relative number of people can do it. Some people go against the odds to actually get information. Some people, I think I've heard of someone who was one time sent out of class, but he stood by the window to listen to the whole lecture. And at the end of the day, that person was the best student in the class. Crazy as it was. But it was just interesting for me, because this is someone that was determined that nothing would deter him from actually getting what he needed to get. So determination is also one thing that is key. If we really want to pull out, if we want to move out of negative narrative, if we want to change the narrative that we found ourselves in, we really need to be determined. And determination always comes with obstacles. Just like Engineer Tony says, get ready that there's obstacle coming your way. From your front, from your back, from the side. Obstacles.
I mean, Prudence, most of the African leaders that have their names in history today, that they face racism, especially those that went to school outside. In fact, when you see the setting of the class where they are seated is far from the whites because of racism, there's nothing that is not said about them, like negative narratives. But for them to study till the end, it means that there was a deliberate effort, that regardless of what you are saying, that is not who I am, that is your perception. And that is why they study till the end, so that they can change that narrative. At the end of the day, I think I read story of one recently that, okay, after being sidelined, not carried along in the class, even if you ask questions, they don't even respond to that. But he made extra effort to study on his own, to make research. At the end of the day, his contribution in the class was amazing. And they had to create a space for this black man, like amidst the white, and everything they do, they engage him. So he didn't allow the story told about him to affect or influence how he thinks or where he is. Because if you are made to feel, oh, you don't have a voice, you are nobody compared to this set of people, you will say, okay, let me just align myself, let me just keep like being a slave to these people, so that maybe eventually they will consider me. But I mean, all of us are here to study this course, and if I have the book available, why wouldn't I study it? So you see, some of the negative narrative we're even holding on to, they are not even true. They are just based on fear that we're holding on to some of this narrative. It's important that you recognize what is the negative narrative or the story that you're holding on, or the information that you are holding on about you that is not like, that has affected you. Is it even true, or is it out of fear, or it is what people decide to perceive you as? And when you recognize that, you make effort to change it by now changing the information that has been there with the right information. Sambo Solomon spoke about having the right circle. That can be another way of changing the narrative. Like, who are the people you listen to? Because it forms your totality as a person. If there's anything I value as a person, is people that have the right information. Like, I can spend the whole day listening to you. But you see, one thing again I don't want to be part of is a gathering or a discussion that is negative, that I know consciously or unconsciously is going to impact on me. Because sometimes even when you say, okay, let me just sit there and I'm not contributing, or let me just hear it.
That's a worst decision.
Yeah. You see, that's why the Bible says do not sit in the seat of
fools.
In the council of fools. Yes. Because you will become like them. And he also say, he that walks with the wise, you become wise. So you can start changing your narrative by looking at your circle, these people that are around me, these people that I spend most of my time with, how have they influenced me? Like, who I am today, what is the contribution? Is it like these people now, are they the ones that influence me? Is it positive or even negative? If it is negative, then you need to change your circle. And if it is positive, you should hold on to these people the more, because the more you read information that you did not even ask for on social media, the more you have circles that keep countering all of those things. Sometimes we think about ourselves like, I can't do it, I can't do this thing, and somebody just around you will tell you, you can do this. I know you can do this. A lot of times I tell myself, sometimes people that are around, how do they know that? Like, how do they believe so much in you that things that you think ordinary, you can't do it? But you see, people believe in you, people push you. This is the right circle that you should keep. People that see the best in you, people that see you are headed towards greatness, and this is their contribution in your life. Not people that will tell you, no, from where we come from, we cannot do it. From where we come from,
that statement is a problem
Joyce,
for us.
You cannot start telling people that what is wrong with them is the information they received, because they don't believe there is any other thing out there apart from what they believe.
They believe.
Have
we
you heard
grew up in it.
Have you heard people say, no, they don't even care whether they grew up in it or they did not. What they care about is, this is how we are.
Been.
Have you seen people who say, I am looking for somebody that can help me? They do me something. Nobody did anything to you. Nobody. I used to believe that too. Until I changed how I was thinking. Because you are talking about listening to people who have something to offer. Not just listening to people who have something to offer.
Yes.
I listened to a lot of people and I compared their own stories. And I see, they say nobody is born with silver spoon. Even though some people say this one was born with silver spoon. The fact that your father can take you to a good school and all of that, they will just teach you book, but they will not teach you certain things about life. These things about life, you come outside the school to learn them.
True.
Outside the school, there are teachers that can be generous with information. They tell you, this is how this one, this is how this one is. Like one of my teachers who told me, look, this one that when you are moving, girls will be shouting in school and all of that. Don't go and fail exam and be a terrible person. No. Because everything, I had a very funny name they were calling me. Even if I'm walking on the block, they will start shouting. And I don't know why they were shouting, but they will be shouting. That thing got to my head. I was saying, he said, no. He said they shout, that they are shouting is nothing compared to your grades. It didn't make sense to me until I left secondary school. I was facing, the toughest system of schooling in secondary school.
True.
That is where you are made or where you are killed. Not even university, when you can decide for yourself. So when people are saying you have to leave negative people and move to positive people, some people are thinking these negative people, they are the people.
The positive people.
They don't.
It's
because they don't know that they are negative people. They just feel they enjoy it because things are working for them. They don't know what you labored for things to work for you, because nothing can just fall on you.
True.
The mind is a very fertile place. That whatever it hears, if you allow your mind to hear a thing, it will start germinating.
Yes.
It grows.
And negativity grows faster than anything that is positive. Whether you water it or you
not.
don't, that is it. Because
Very
the
true.
mind of the man, the human mind, is formed
like a
that
weed.
way.
That
like a
decision
weed.
is also easy
like a
to
weed.
make.
That is it. That is it. But you
It's
see,
actually easy.
that is why everybody must be deliberate about their prosperity. I keep saying this. You must be deliberate about who you want to become.
True.
You cannot say this is who I want to be, and you are doing what everybody is doing at that level. You will be the same.
Sure.
I don't want to be an average person in life. No. What is wrong is they know my name all over the world. What is wrong? Somebody said one time that, recently as a matter of fact, that every day, church, money. Church wants to gather money. Church wants to be rich. And I asked him, I said, if church gathers money, what is wrong with it? He said, no, the problem is you see a pastor driving a big car and he's still begging. So I said, these cars that you see people with, if a guest speaker comes from the headquarters of a church with a bad car, a tattered car, and he comes, they say, see, they are collecting our offering. We don't know what they are doing. See the kind of car they are using. They drive big cars. You say they are carrying your money to buy offering. It's mentality. There are certain people, like you said, I don't want to sit and see them around. They don't have any reason to believe anything that is positive in nature. They don't.
It's draining.
They don't, Joyce, they don't. So the best way, when you see such people, you avoid them. You avoid them, even if they are your sisters, even if they are your brothers, even if they are your friends. Whoever they are, you avoid them for your own sanity.
True.
Why? Because the mind, when the mind is occupied with negative things, the body cannot act otherwise. The mouth cannot say otherwise. You cannot imagine anything that is positive if your mind is negative. When you see a car passing, they have stolen money to buy the car. Why? Meanwhile, there are people that are making 200-300 million monthly in this country legitimately, and they are young people, and they are not even married. They are young people,
and they are constantly harassed because
Yes.
everybody thinks they are just.
If you are traveling, right? If you are traveling on the Nigerian road and you see young men in a car, they will stop them, search their pockets, do all of these things. And I'm wondering, I'm not saying that is wrong, because the police are informed, or whoever the security is, they are informed, so they know what they are looking for. But sometimes, some of these guys, you will be shocked. Some of these guys, you will be shocked. So you just wake up to positivity every now and then. Don't think, these ones, our own don't finish. Oh, these are the people that are enjoying this life. Let's keep supporting them. No. You have to challenge your peers. You have to challenge people. You have to let people know that, look, see, it starts from the mind. The way you have been thinking, that is how you are. Everybody is rich today because of the information he has.
Yeah.
Even the thief is informed. That is why he can successfully steal.
True.
Yes. Haven't you seen prostitute that has been prostitute for 50 years and she doesn't have STD? She's informed. There are girls that are in church, they just try to touch here once. Before you know it, antibiotic every week. They are not informed. It takes smartness. If you are informed about whatever you are doing, so you will be smart about your approach to everything in life. You know, today is not a relationship day, but most of our sisters, they are not informed. That is why they cry in relationships. And they came next Wednesday.
I mean, see, the basic thing is that we can rewrite our story. We can rewrite this narrative. Like, these are things that people say about us. And probably you too have written your story, like, negatively, and it has affected you and where you are today. The good news is that you are alive. There is hope. And I tell people every day that when you sleep, you wake up. It means God has not given up on you. So even if your parents or your friends or your bosses or people around you say you amount to nothing, the fact that God allow you to see another day, it means that there is hope.
My son woke up to me one day and he said he wants to be a carpenter. I said, what? He said he wants to be a carpenter. I looked at him and I laughed. I said, Tom, you leave school. He said, why? He said, look at the furniture that we have in this house. A carpenter made it. He said, Dad, you are thinking I want to be doing roofing and all that. I said, no. He said he wants to do tastefully designed furniture and all of that. He wants to be that A-class kind of carpenter. I see I have problem with accepting that. But that is who he is. Look at this. A carpenter made it. Somebody designed it. And we use plenty money to buy it. Look at the chair we are sitting on. That is what he's thinking of. But you know, every parent even when you insult the child that you don't amount to anything, you want your child to either be a doctor, a lawyer, a this, a now. Right now, Joyce, right now, there are state governments that are fighting people that are into this mining, this tapping thing or online that everybody you see carrying for doing it. But let's wait, right? Let's wait till the thing either crashes or they become successful. Let's see if government will not make them pay taxes. If something is illegal, fight it. But if it's legal, if you don't want it in your state of origin, you can block that app in your state. You can. You know, you people just hate anything they don't understand. Don't be in a hurry. I'm not buying
And
into
it's
that
wrong.
theory, but I'm just saying they say that there are people who spend 7-8 hours doing this. What else would they do? They are jobless in the first place. I have a friend. He has a job, but he taps from like 11 in the night till like 3 a.m. before he sleeps. He told me, he said, going by what they say, every day they are saying something, not what they said. By going by what they say, he said by the time it yields, he has up to 200 to 300 million so far with what he has on phone.
A lot of people, someone was saying, on a
I will be shocked if I don't have staff that are tapping.
someone was saying that the company.
Prudence, who do you know that is tapping? Prudence, you know somebody. I want to encourage the person with data
I
money to
think
tap.
Martha knows somebody.
Matter, you tap. After you tap, I'll give you data money. Do you tap? What about you? Joyce, you tap.
Where do I see the time to tap?
After you tap, I hope it's not palm wine that you're tapping.
I said the
You know,
tapper.
sometimes you see certain things like this Bitcoin, all of these things. When they went up, a lot of people became rich. When it crashed, how much are you investing? Nothing. Just tapping. It's just what I believe. I know you want to end the show. Why wouldn't I just end the show since the camera is on me?
Okay, go.
Thank you very much for tapping.
You know, some people go and cut this part. When they cut this part, they will say, "Oh, Engineer Tony actually approved, so let's start this."
But technically, you just tapped to actually watch us. So thank you for tapping.
It's amazing doing this with you all, but like we always emphasize, if you're not happy with where you are at the moment, you can rewrite your story, you can re-raise yourself. You don't need to keep pointing fingers and blaming other people. You have a responsibility to take action, especially as regard where you are headed and where you would want to be. It's been amazing doing this with you. Thank you so much, Lomo, especially for sharing your story. It was really touching, and we pray that this will be it is going to inspire a lot of people out there that are going through
And be a
sin
lesson.
and be a lesson to them. Thank you, Prudence Broga. Thank you, Engineer Tony J. Nakali of the Most High. My name is Joyce Jakada. We'll come your way tomorrow with another beautiful package. Remain blessed.